I went to Abbotsleigh School. I graduated back in 2014, and then I studied a Bachelor of Business and Bachelor of BCII at UTS. I wrapped up at UTS about a year and a half ago, and now I'm working full-time as an analyst at Accenture in the financial services industry. So I decided to study BCII with business because I guess I'd always had a bit of an interest in entrepreneurship, and studying a regular business degree obviously gives you a great foundation for kind of all those different areas. But I think BCII was really where it kind of got exciting for me. I'm actually quite curious about other areas, obviously working in a transdisciplinary degree. And I definitely say that when I was in high school, I obviously had areas I was interested in, but I wasn't necessarily particularly good at one thing. I kind of like to have a bit of my foot in a lot of different areas. So something like BCII was going to keep me interested and really, I guess, in tune with a lot of different other areas by studying a transdisciplinary degree. So there you go. Life-changing, mind-blowing, and uplifting or inspiring. I'd have to say those three words because it's definitely one of the most incredible experiences that I have kind of run with since leaving school. And I came away from it with a really inspiring network of people that I studied with, and they continue to inspire me since leaving UTS. So I'd have to say those are the three words that I'd use. Now that I'm out kind of working full-time in the real world, I have to say it didn't really resonate with me until I got out and kind of started working full-time. The nature of like real world problem solving, I suppose they tell you that in BCII, and you do get to like interact with real life clients and things like that. But now that I guess I'm kind of out on my own, it makes me super grateful for those experiences that I did have in BCII. BCII really made me think quite differently about my business degree, particularly because I chose a marketing major. Now, the marketing major at UTS does have quite a very strong group work component to it, which to many other business students was quite intimidating. But for a lot of the BCII business students, group work was not overwhelming, and it was not something that was kind of something that people would look forward to rather than dreading. I think once you learn some really effective collaboration styles and different methods that are taught and you put into practice in BCII, it makes group work that much easier. And like I said, it's something you look forward to. So yeah, definitely really took me to the next level in business. My favourite memory from BCII would have to be in my final fourth year industry innovation project. This was something that I feel I was so lucky to experience at that particular time. I was lucky enough to work with Maryvale, transforming nightlife for 18 to 25-year-olds. And at that particular point in time, there were quite contentious issues being discussed around the lockout laws and how, I guess, Sydney nightlife had taken a bit of a blow. And so there are a lot of kind of complexities behind the problem that we were trying to uncover. And I suppose from Maryvale's perspective, understand what that particular demographic was looking for when they were going out on a night out. And I guess I did fall into that particular target segment. So there was a lot of research involved, but no, it was honestly so much fun. Got to really kind of cement ourselves in the Maryvale team. And funnily enough, this was quite a good stepping stone before in my final year of uni, before moving into consulting the following year, because it was really a great lesson in client relationship management and, you know, building expectations, trying to take the client on a journey and co-create something. So at the end, it's really an outcome that everyone is after, and obviously solves the problem at the crux of it. So yeah, that was definitely my most memorable experience, and I still catch up very regularly with that group of people that I did that project with. So yeah. It's definitely been obviously the incredible lessons and methodologies and practices that I've taken away from the degree, but it would also have to be the incredible network that I've kind of developed over the course of the 4-year degree, the BCI degree at UTS. BCI is quite a unique course, I guess, in that you're working with all these different transdisciplinary people on completely different problem spaces all the time. You get to understand the nuances of how each person works and really understand their skill sets and where they kind of shine in different areas, very different areas necessarily to what you might be interested in or you excel at. But just being able to kind of work alongside these people, you learn the kind of intrinsics of how they actually work. And I must say now, having worked with those people and still kind of remaining quite close with that network once I'd left, it's awesome to follow the progress that they've made since graduating and being able to collaborate on many different things as well once leaving uni. I'd have to say studying a combined degree was extremely useful for me as I was seeking jobs towards the end of uni. BCI is absolutely something that stands out on the resume, and you'll often find that a lot of people who I guess do kind of work at in these really interesting jobs that you might be trying to seek. They're working at the intersection of knowledge. They're working in somewhat of a transdisciplinary nature. They might have studied maybe not BCII, but they have these two kind of different areas of knowledge, or maybe multiple, that come together and have an interesting way of bringing new things to the table. So BCI in itself, once I kind of explained it to people as I was throughout the recruitment process, they found that extremely, extremely useful in a mindset. It's more of a mindset really than a skill set, as it doesn't matter what your core foundation of knowledge is, as long as you are open and you know how to kind of collaborate across different disciplines. That in itself is an extremely valuable and useful skill once you have left uni. To other students who might be thinking about studying BCI with business, it's an extremely useful combination. I have to say, I was really interested in entrepreneurship before starting uni. However, once I actually got into BCI, I came across this term entrepreneurship, where people might be doing, you know, some really game-changing, innovative things, but within a huge organization. And so I'd have to say that if that's something that interests you, or even just entrepreneurship in general, it absolutely is a great combination, and you'll take a lot from the experience.